Hello friends, this is Tasavvur with Only Gizmos, and in today's video we are going to take a look at the Motorola Defy XT, which is Motorola's latest smartphone in the Defy series, which is also a successor of the very popular Motorola Defy and the Defy Plus. So what is really different in the Motorola Defy XT and what does it bring to the table? So let's go ahead and take a look at the design of the device in detail. So now taking a look at the front of the device, you have a 3.7-inch screen, and now there's a secondary camera right on top of the screen, which was missing in the previous Motorola Defy series. Right at the bottom you have the capacitive touch buttons, and interestingly right below it you have the speaker. So now that's an interesting addition. Now taking a look at the top of the device, you can see here's the port 3.5mm jack, audio jack, and right next to it is the screen lock or the power on off button. Now taking a look at the right hand side of the device, there's the volume keys, and unfortunately there's no dedicated camera button even in the Defy XT. Let's take a look at the bottom of the device. It's completely blank. Taking a look at the left hand side of the device, like the previous versions, you have a covered micro USB port. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the back of the device. On the back you have a 5-megapixel camera along with an LED flash, and right below this is the standard lock button for your back cover, which we always had in the Motorola Defy series. Now interestingly, right next to it has been placed another speaker. So now let us go ahead and take a peek inside on the inside of the Defy XT. Now as always, to pull the cover off you have to unlock it. Oops, so it was already unlocked. So this is how it's locked and unlocked. So there is no clicking happening in this version like the previous editions, and also there is a clearly marked slot for you to remove the back cover here. So all you have to do is push your fingernail beneath it and just push it upwards, and slowly go ahead and remove the cover from the It's a bit of a pain, agreed, but then hey, the device gives you waterproofing, and this is why the back cover goes in very securely. So we've got rid of the back cover. Now you can see here right at the top is the micro SD card slot. Now that's another change. Earlier you had the micro SD card right beneath the battery, so in case if you wanted to swap the micro SD card, you would have to obviously switch off the device and take the battery out and then go ahead and change your SIM SD card. Now it's very different here. It's supposed to be convenient, but then when we've tried removing the SIM card, the SD card, it's quite tricky to do that. Now this has got a rubber attachment here, so as you can see it's quite flexible. Now in order to remove the SD card, you have to just push it out a bit and then just allow it to drop. There's no way you can pull it out entirely. So that was how you could get the micro SD card out of its slot. Now let's just go ahead and take the battery out of the device. Now this version, that is the Motorola Defy XT, it has a 1650 mAh battery instead of the 1700 one which you found in the Motorola Defy Plus. And right below the battery you have the slot for your SIM card. Now the biggest difference between the Motorola Defy Plus and the Motorola Defy XT obviously has to be the design part. Now the latest device, that is the Motorola XT, has a significantly slimmer profile and it looks much better than the Motorola Defy Plus. At the same time, it has smartly placed speakers as well, right on the back and in the front as well, so that would obviously enhance the speaker experience on the Defy XT, which was previously dull on the Motorola Defy or the Defy Plus. And also there is a front camera, a secondary camera, which is a VGA camera. Now let us directly go ahead and take a look at another differentiator between the Defy XT and the Defy Plus. It is the UI on the device, which is obviously Android 2.3, but the skin here, instead of the MotoBlur, the new Motorola Defy XT has the MotoSwitch 2.0. So the important thing about the MotoSwitch 2.0 UI is that it has got a very crisp and smooth functioning interface along with some very useful apps, which makes the experience on the Motorola Defy XT more snappy. Accessing your apps becomes very easy with the activity graph, which would put on, as you can see right here, the most used apps right in front of you on the activity graph, so you can directly access the apps which you usually access. Besides that, it has also got a social graph, which would put up the most used contacts and their other information directly for you to access. Rather than having to go into the contacts, you can directly have a shortcut access to those. And besides that, there's also music now. Let me just go ahead and so music now is nothing but an app to enhance your music experience on the device. You can go ahead and search for music, share music, listen to it, stream music online. So, and we have got an HTC like live weather wallpaper app. So right here you have animation as well. So this is the weather update for my location. Unfortunately, it's not really right now raining so heavily as being indicated by the app. So let's go back, and so that was the MotoSwitch 2.0 UI. Now let us talk about the 5.0 megapixel camera on the Defy XT. We have managed to click some pictures with this camera, but I must admit that we are not really satisfied with the quality of images that we have managed to get out of it. We've tried tweaking it, but the color renditions seem to be quite dull. The images seem to be a little washed out, and the clarity is clearly missing in the images. Talking about the video, it is we are quite satisfied with the experience. It's quite similar to the performance you had on the Motorola Defy or the Defy Plus, so there's virtually no difference, but the camera somehow seems to have degraded. Speaking of the battery performance on the Motorola Defy XT, it is quite similar to what you have on the Motorola Defy Plus. We were able to get around 10.5 hours of battery life out of it, with moderate usage of internet and listening to a couple of hours of music on it, along with around an hour and a half on calls. So the battery backup given by the device is quite sufficient, but we would suggest you to always carry a charger, because if you are out for say more than 16 hours, you would want to have that device charged in between. So that was all about the Motorola Defy XT. The device importantly has a solid design and it feels very light in the hand, and it's quite slim as well. And here there's a secondary camera in the front as well. And don't forget, the Motorola Switch 2.0 UI is much better than the MotoBlur which you had on the Defy or the Defy Plus. And the battery backup on the device is also quite satisfactory. We had approximately 10.5 hours of battery backup with moderate usage. So that was the Motorola Defy XT, which is available for 16,500 rupees in the market. This is the server with only gizmos signing off. Thank you so much.